right. We are back in the studio after last week's trip down to Kentucky, Red River Gorge. It was tons of fun.
A lot of fun.
Tonight it's Dustin and me. We're sitting here in the intimate confines of the Studio 45 garage and recording session.
Yep, back in the studio.
The big news that we've heard quite a bit of news about, or quite a bit of talk about. Everybody's excited about the new little baby Honda 125 Grom.
There was a lot of talk about it this weekend.
Yeah, and people are really excited about a small bike, a play bike. And the funny thing was, we were, having a lot of chatter about it. And I kept asking, I was like, what size wheels are on that bike? Because they looked really small, and nobody seemed to know. Everybody was like, oh, it's got to be a 14 or a 16 or something. No, it's a 12.
It's a 12?
It's a 12. So being that it's a 12-inch wheel, it actually... Ironically, it uses the exact same tires as a Vespa motor scooter. It uses a 120 by 12 on the front and a 130 by 12 on the back. So it is the exact same size tires and wheels as a Vespa scooter, which is kind of funny. The motor itself is rather low compression. It's right around 9-to-1. That means it'll run good on 87 octane gas. And the power output's a little on the anemic side. It's right around 9 horsepower. Right around 9 horsepower, 8 foot-pounds of torque.
What's a buddy scooter put out?
Well, that was the kind of funny thing.
At a 125. It puts out more than 9 horsepower.
It does. It puts out about 11 and a half. Yeah. So the buddy scooter definitely has it on compression ratio. The buddy scooter definitely has it on horsepower. The interesting thing, though, is this has a clutch. So whereas with a lot of our small displacement scooters that we know have a lot of fun and go like hell, this thing has a lot of fun and goes like hell with a clutch. So if you look at the video of the guy riding it around and hooning around on it, having fun, doing little rolling burnouts and doing wheelies and stoppies in the warehouse.
Yeah, the video definitely makes the bike look appetizing.
It doesn't. I'm convinced that the guy that's riding it in the Icon jacket, good product placement there for him, I'm pretty convinced that guy's about 5'1".
He looks tiny.
He looks tiny. They found the smallest rider they could find to put on that machine to make that machine look bigger. What I was noticing is it's a laydown motor. It's Honda's venerable laydown overhead cam 4-stroke motor with a 4-speed gearbox and just a clutch operated. The bike is made in Taiwan for Honda. And another thing a lot of people are asking about is the price. The MSRP of the bike is $3,000. So they're shooting for that $2,999.
It's like the Sim Wolf range.
It's going to be a real decision maker. So somebody's going to be looking at a new bike. It's considerably less than a Ninja 300 or a CBR 250. Considerably less than those two bikes, but it is right in the wheelhouse with a SYM Wolf 150, right in the wheelhouse with a Buddy 125 or a Buddy 170 fuel injected, and it will be it'll be a bike that is being solidly targeted at new riders. The thing is, I think they're going to have more of a market with guys who just want a fun little play bike.
That's kind of like what everybody was talking about last weekend.
Yeah,
was just like, oh my gosh, how cool would that be to have?
I know. And
to just go crazy on.
Right. And when you look at the marketing, this marketing is all directed at being, it's aimed square at a 19-year-old rider. The marketing is definitely aimed at a 19-year-old male rider with all the hooliganism that they're doing on the bike, with all the silly stoppies and wheelies and sliding and, just hockey stopping the bike. So with all that activity going on, they are squarely saying this is a juvenile bike. It's absolutely juvenile bike.
I can't see like a guy like you on that bike.
Well, what I can't see is a 19-year-old kid being able to drop what's probably going to be right around $3,900 out the door from your dealer.
That's big boy money.
That's big money. I mean, $3,900, we all know from this podcast that $3,900 can buy you 3 damn solid CB350s or 2 CB500s or CB550s that are...
I can buy a lot of motorcycle for $3,000, for $4,000.
For $4,000, exactly. And what's kind of funny, I'm going to transition the story real quickly over to a bike that came into the shop recently, a 1996, I believe, Yamaha VMAX. Okay, so we know the Yamaha VMAX. I mean, that's an amazing, powerful monster of a motorcycle.
Wonderful bike.
And
I wouldn't own one ever myself, but
Well, and it's been a dream bike of mine since they were introduced in the mid '80s. I've always wanted a VMAX, and the funny thing is, I've never had the opportunity to ride one.
Really?
I know, isn't that weird? All the bikes I've ridden, I've never ridden a VMAX. And taking the bike out, the guy brought it in. He bought the bike. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we
These
forgot
are
that.
Summer shandies.
Mm-hmm. Because summer's on our way.
Because summer's on its way. This guy bought this bike used. It'd been sitting for a while, obviously. That's why I'm riding it. The guy bought the bike used for $4,000. So for $4,000, the price of the Grom 125,
he's got all of a VMAX.
He's got an entire, not half of a VMAX. He has all of a VMAX. And honestly, this bike came in with great tires on it.
Yeah.
It came in with a Corbin saddle. It's that screaming yellow zonker yellow that I like. If I'm going to own one, that's going to be the color I'm going to own. It's in a remarkably great shape. It's got a throttle meister on it. The V-Boost is working correctly. Now, what V-Boost is, for people who are not Yamaha literate, what they did with
VMAX literate.
Yeah, what they did with the VMAX is, in addition to this monster V4 motor that made crazy horsepower back in its day, there is a valving system that when this thing gets to 7,000 RPM, all kinds of ape shit happens.
It's like VTEC?
It really is. It's amazing how at 7,000 RPM, it literally throws a switch. It throws an electronic switch.
Like the little dramatic music he got there with it.
It throws an electronic switch that just gives you insane boost. The problem is that boost only happens to like 9,500 RPM where the red line is. So it happens fast.
So if you want that boost, you need to cane that bike.
You need to cane it. And the owner of the bike brought the bike in with a thing called the T-Boost. And there's been, this is a trigger mechanism that you install into the wiring harness, and then you press the button, and the button keeps the V-Boost activated all the time.
Really?
Which is really smart, because having a V-Boost that only activates at 7,000 really means you've got to be deep into the twigs and berries of this thing to get this whoosh.
Yeah.
And by the time the whoosh comes on, it's pretty much over. I've ridden it. I've been practicing with this bike, trying to get control over the V-Boost and use it when I want to use it. And what usually
Instead
happens...
using his switch?
Well, and the switch idea is just you throw the switch, and then this way you're getting the V-Boost much, much earlier in the RPM range, which is more usable power. And on this motorcycle, with this motor, to be at 7,000 RPM, you're already way, way deep into the fun zone. And then all of a sudden, when you're way deep into the fun zone, then it just goes apeshit on you. And it is like riding one of those earlier turbo bikes, the turbo bikes that just came on kind of at the worst possible moment.
Yeah.
This kind of comes on 7,000. It comes on too late. And that's why these companies produce these products, these T-Boost products, these electronic initiators to put the bike into its V-Boost increased power delivery much, much earlier in the rev range, which is initially... all the reviews that I read, all the anecdotal information we had about these, I really never understood. I was like, well, the V-Boost is set up to happen at 7. That means you're really, really into it, so you wouldn't get the V-Boost if you weren't really into it.
So does it dump in like turbo lag?
No, it's like a switch, man. When this thing comes on at 7, there is no gentleness to it. There's no turbo lag to it. It's what? But it's predictable. It's right there at 7,000 every single time. And I was reading the instruction manual for the T-Boost device, and it said, before you install this T-Boost device, you must first make sure that your V-Boost on your motorcycle is actually working. If your V-Boost is broken or it's not working correctly, the T-Boost isn't going to fix your problem. The V-Boost has to be in operation. So, of course, I had to take the bike out and test it numerous times to make sure that the V-Boost was actually functioning the bike. And it does deliver as promised. So really, really cool. Of course, the bike been sitting for 2 years, so a lot of seafoam in the gas and a lot of playing around between 1,200 RPM and 2,200 RPM to clean this thing out so that we don't necessarily have to resort to trying to yank 4 carburetors off of a complicated V4 motor.
Oh, I know what you're talking about there.
That's never a fun scenario.
I've been playing with that Magda. Same thing.
Yeah.
Please don't make me take the carburetors off this.
And that's kind of a neat tech tip. if you own one of those 80s motorcycles, and most of those 80s motorcycles, especially when they were trying to do the shape, when they were going for that slope back or that kind of raked up, gas tank raked up seat.
Sportster.
That's kind of a Harley Sportster riding position. A lot of these motorcycles were using fuel pumps. And fuel pumps is something that really didn't come into play on our earlier pre-1978 bikes. Whereas on this, what's the Magna we're working on? What's that, 85, 86?
85, yeah.
85, right? So that 85 Magna, from sitting and just being derelict, and the reason it was probably parked was the fuel pump quit working.
Yeah.
And there was no signs of life when we put power to the fuel pump. The fuel pump wasn't activating. So I would really think, and if you have an old bike and you're getting this symptom, and your bike is equipped with a fuel pump, the first thing you want to do is you want to put power to that bike and listen to your fuel pump. It should be making noise.
Should be going pump, 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 pump.
Right. And put your hand on the actual fuel pump. When you turn the key on for the bike and the kill switch is in the run position, and sometimes the side stand has to be up, when those conditions are met and the bike is in a ready-to-fire situation and you crank that motor, you should have your hand on the fuel pump and you'll feel it pumping. If you don't feel it pumping, one of the most simple things you can do is tap it with a hammer. I'm not saying a 3-pound sledge. I'm saying a light tap. And we did that. We gave that fuel pump maybe 15 or 20 taps with a hammer, and it started working really nice.
It did.
And once it started working really nice and without the pressure of a carburetor in front of it, being able to just pump fuel open, with no back pressure, that thing started working really great.
Oh, it worked fantastic.
And it started working great. So it just needed to be woken up. It was stuck. And
for 7 years.
Yeah, for 7 years. So for 7 years. So we know that it was stuck when it was parked, probably from sitting for a season or two. And then it sat for 7 years. Somebody didn't enjoy this motorcycle for 7 years because of a silly, stupid fuel pump. And it turns out that fuel pump is like unobtainium.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can find them, but, man, people want about $300 for them.
And they're always wrong. It's always the wrong pump,
Yeah, I mean, I finally found the right one, and that must have been like a 1-year release,
right?
Or something, because they go from the 2-wire fuel pumps,
right,
for very reasonable money, to the 4-wire fuel pump,
which are big bucks.
That is about $300,
right? Exactly,
used.
And you're not going to find a new one. You can go through Bike Bandit. You can go through wherever you want to go through. You're not going to find a new one.
No,
so
never.
You're way further ahead to take the existing one apart and rebuild it.
Exactly.
Than you are trying to buy a complete one to put in there. And
that's
no
pretty much
affair.
where I was at.
Exactly.
I was like, I'm just going to rebuild this thing, or I'm going to hack a different fuel pump to work for it. But I really didn't want to do that.
Right. Exactly. You can use a lot of different fuel pumps because it's not a high-pressure fuel pump. Mm-hmm. It's not going into an injection system. It's just going into carburetors.
Well, and fuel pumps aren't like a specialized thing.
Yes.
It pumps fuel.
We joke all the time. Windshield the pump that squirts the juice on your windshield
Same thing.
is more than adequate.
That's what the dudes put in their exhaust to make flames.
Yeah, flamethrowers. Yeah, you just use the windshield washer pumps. So there are very affordable go-arounds for something that you might think is a very expensive repair. That would be a daunting repair to an owner of a mid-'80s cruiser bike or maybe a mid-'80s Interceptor. When somebody tells you, your fuel pump is shit the bed, you need a $400 part, you got to think long and hard about putting $400 plus labor into a bike that's 30 years old,
Oh, easily.
And it's a really hard decision to make. But if you
can hack around it,
you can wake that up.
Yeah.
You can wake it up. You can bring it back into service. You can squirt some ACF 50 in there. You can squirt some penetrant in there and run it outside of the bike, put electricity to it, tap it. It's an old mechanic's trick to just, oops, I accidentally dropped it. And if you drop it from a foot onto a concrete floor with power put to it, a couple of jumper leads put to it, that thing's going to start pumping 90% of the time.
It will.
And if you've got a nice
crud, bad gas, whatever.
If you've got a nice penetrant or a nice, a nice solvent in there when it's doing it, it's going to clean those contacts off. It's going to clean the pump up inside, and it's going to start producing the kind of reliable pressure you need to put the bike down the road. The rest of that motorcycle's beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
absolutely.
like a shining example of a 1980s Magna.
Well, the thing with that particular fuel pump
thing.
was it had a relay to it that
a safety relay.
Yeah, if you dump the bike or
if
whatever,
you dump the bike over, right?
And as soon as the bike stops running, even if the key's in the on position, the fuel pump turns off.
Exactly.
And that's where I was running into some confusion. You know, of course, you know, today with the internets, you know, you can get so many different people's experiences in such a short amount of time by just going to forums.
Yeah.
Of course, they have a billion Magna forums. So
absolutely.
Looking at people's experience with the fuel pump relay, and it seemed like every time the fuel pump was fine, it was the relay that was bad. So I was looking into that. And it just got to the point of ridiculousness. And then when you said that night where you're like, let's just hit it with a hammer. I'm like, fine.
It's not the most elegant approach, but you'd be surprised at how many times that's exactly what it needs.
And I've been riding it around the neighborhood ever since.
I know, isn't that something? So there'll be a fresh Honda Magna on the market here in Cleveland very shortly.
Oh yeah, once it gets a proper shakedown, a couple other fluids changed.
And it's got a title. Go figure.
It does.
It's really nice. So that's kind of our little transitional story there for you.
We just transitioned through like 3 stories.
Bang, bang, bang. Just hit them.
We were on that little Honda, and then we were on VMAX and then a Magna.
But I do want to say one other thing about the Honda Grom. That is, to call it anything but a play bike. You know, they're trying to say that this is a commuter. They're trying to say that this is a reasonable motorcycle. They're trying to say that this is a kind of does everything, all singing, all dancing 125.
I would say it's a commuter that doesn't involve anything over 40 miles an hour.
You know, I think that it'll probably be much like what we're used to with other 10 horsepower bikes. It's probably going to be 65 topped out. It'll probably be pretty anemic after 40. You know, a 4-speed gearbox isn't going to exactly give you long legs.
No.
And, you know, you see the guy in the video doing a bunch of wheelies and stuff on it. The point is, though, with a motorcycle that light, the rider is the ballast. The rider is how the wheelie happens. You can wheelie a bike with 1 horsepower when the bike weighs less than the rider. So
it's like wheeling a bicycle.
It's wheeling a tricycle at that point. Yeah, it's literally just lean back, and any amount of power is going to make it happen.
That's how I used to wheelie my DT70 when I was a kid.
Right? Yeah, just lean back and go.
I mean, I was like 12 or 13 at the time, you know, and I could pull the front end off of that every time.
This thing's not going to be practical for luggage. It's not going to be practical for 2-up. It's not going to be practical for windshields. It's got 12-inch scooter tires on it, so it's not going to be particularly great for potholes and things like that. I think that
I'm surprised I didn't catch the 12-inch tires in the video.
Yeah, they're really small. That's a lot of. There's a lot of camera trickery there. There's a whole lot of emphasizing the right angles on that bike.
Yeah.
And they really do try to make
I never would have thought those were 12.
They make the bike look much, much bigger than it really is. Because what's interesting is with the... I showed Merritt the video tonight. When I showed Merritt the video tonight, the first word that came out of her mouth was, "Oh, it's a pit bike." So she immediately said, "It's a pit bike." And that's what it is. There's so many in the children's level of motocross. There's the small wheel, the 10-inch and 12-inch classes, and that's what this is. You know, this isn't the I can't remember the name of it, but there was a Honda called it wasn't a Z50, but it was like a Zubaz or something 50. It was that weird little thing. It was red and black, which is funny. This is red and black too.
Yeah.
So it's just
I saw a couple of those in Mid-Ohio last year.
Really, yeah. They've got little
the big plastic covering everything, covering the motor.
Exactly right. Yeah. So those things have been out and they've existed. So that's kind of what we're talking about.
Zumba. Zumba.
Z-U-M-B-A? It's not a Zumba. By God, it's going to come to me. But but it has
you're right, though. I think it's a Z.
And it's not an MB-80. Those are lean and skinny. This was kind of a chubbied up little bike. And,
the fat tires.
Right, fat tires like this thing has the 130 and the 120 on it. But that comes down to what we're talking about, practical commuting motorcycles. And practical commuting motorcycles, this ain't one of.
Dude.
So you'd be way further ahead buying a Wolf 150 or CB 125 or CB 200.
I would take a Wolf 150 over that any day for the same money.
It's for the same money. It's a very comfortable riding position. It's got real motorcycle size wheels.
It was probably built down the street.
Oh, clearly. You know that's all Taiwan, man.
Yeah. Well, you know that Honda is probably built by Kimco.
SYM. In this particular instance.
Oh.
Yeah, the Wolf is SYM and the
So they're both built by SYM.
I'm pretty goddamn sure looking at it it's an SYM product. By the looks of it, it's definitely made in, let's just say it's made in Honda's Taiwan branch, which on a lot of products does happen to be SYM. So really an interesting thing for that. But for an actual commuting bike, you're not going to be able to put a top case on it. You know, it's going to be you and your messenger bag. So
That's all I get on my bikes anyway.
And you notice
no storage.
Right. And everybody says, well, we'll wait till the 200 comes out or wait till the 250 comes out. No, this is a lay-down 125 motor. Mm-hmm. So it is built specifically because of the learner legal laws that are all 125. All the learner legal laws in all the European countries and Japan are all 125. So the bikes that are under 125, in some places you don't need insurance, in some places you can have a very, very minimal license to ride them. So the marketing for this bike is straight ahead, European Asian market, entry-level new riders. The trick is that American new riders can't toss down $3,900 out the door. And that's
right
where I see that. I see that in the shop all the time. If somebody comes in, entry-level rider, what do I try to put them on? A lightweight, nice, reliable, new bike. They can't afford that. They've got an $800, $900 budget. And when you've got an $800 or $900 budget, that means you're on Craigslist and you're buying somebody else's nightmares.
Yep.
And that's just a lot of what these guys are looking for.
It's kind of one of the things that, to add to the list of things that Americans just don't fucking appreciate.
Excuse me.
We can walk into our DMV or BMV, depending on where you're at, and take a very short test on a computer.
Yeah, touchscreen.
And walk out with a motorcycle temporary learner's permit and immediately get on a motorcycle and ride it. And I don't mean just, a small motorcycle, a test motorcycle. I mean, you could get out and get on a Harley bagger.
Yes.
With your learner's permit.
Right.
And ride off into the sunset.
And we are very used to that here. We take that for granted. I deal with people every day in the store that come in and I tell them they've got to get an endorsement.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, they're like, what do you mean? Second of all, I just tell them, go down right now, take the test. It's
like
50
bucks?
questions, it's $26 or whatever. Yeah. You walk in and say the word motorcycle temporary and they already put you in the cattle line. And 15 minutes later, you have literally what you said, a piece of paper in your hand that grants you.
They actually give you a card now.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, you get a photo ID.
Of a temporary.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It used to just be a piece of paper.
When I did it was a piece of paper, but
piece of paper folded up and put in your wallet.
Yeah. Somebody recently I saw, they're like, no, I got a photo ID.
For our European listeners, it's hilarious. They don't at all appreciate, rightfully so. They think we're fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. And we are fucking crazy.
Yeah, we are.
Because you can take a person that has never sat on a motorcycle, give them a temporary, they can go buy a Hayabusa, legally ride it. As long as they don't ride it at night.
With certain restrictions now, Phil.
Now, come on. You can't ride it at night.
Can't ride at night. Have to wear a helmet.
Can't have a passenger.
Can't have a passenger.
Right.
And have to stay off the highway.
And what is the other one? My favorite one.
Oh, congested roadways. Yeah,
Dustin,
that's a bullshit one.
Oh, my God. Dustin and I were in Kentucky, Red River Gorge last week. We were having a lot of fun. And at one big kind of, Dustin, Shane, and I took off on our own Friday. A lot of people were just sort of arriving, but we really did kind of want to go out and see the area and get our bearings, have some fun.
What we did was got completely fucking lost.
My rule is usually I will get on the route that they recommend you to get on, and then if the route becomes boring, I'll look to my left and right on sub-routes, on little roads that we cross, and usually just kind of look at the road, and I'll be like, well, that's got to be interesting because it's heading up the side of a mountain. And that's what we did. We got to the bottom of a valley between two mountains, and we came to the point where there was a big truck going right. Well, you don't want to follow the big truck.
No.
So we went left, and we went to where the truck came from. And it was awesome. I mean, it was
great.
It was 35, 45 minutes of spine-tingling switchbacks. And
it's longer than that.
And then the road got
90 miles.
The road got narrower, and the road got narrower. And then it became gravel. And then it became hell. And
then the gravel eventually dead-ended.
Right, for no apparent reason. And that's where he came in Kentucky. Just because they start a road doesn't necessarily mean they're going to finish it.
True. And, to add to this, in our world of iDevices, whatever you have, iPhone, Android, smartphone, of course, all three of us have them. But, of course, we are in a zone where it's dodgy at best if you might get any signal to load Google Maps to figure out where the fuck you were.
I would have, and probably should have, been prepared and got a paper map.
Yeah.
Because a paper map would have been completely great, and there wouldn't have been 3 idiots holding their phones up, pointing them at the sky, trying to find one bar of service so we could look at a Google map or whatever.
Where's the highest point of elevation?
Right. We're on it.
Yeah.
But there's no tower. My other point is, when we were driving along, the signs I kept seeing and would laugh inside my helmet every time I'd see them was congested area. Okay.
There's nobody.
There's
on the
nobody
roads.
fucking there. This is mountains and trees and trees and mountains. We saw more snakes, possums, roadkill, dead snakes. There was everything. The sign would say congested area, and then literally 500 feet after the sign would be a house on the right, well, sort of a house, a place where a house probably once was, and now there's a trailer there leaning to the left. Then another 500 feet down, another house on the left. And then maybe 1,000 feet later, a church. 3 structures. 3 man-made structures. And that was worthy of a congested area sign. I'm going to say conservatively we saw 20 congested area signs. And there was not one place in that entire area that you would ever call congested.
The majority of the time we were riding around there.
Right.
I don't think I ever had a car behind me.
No, we never had cars behind us. We rarely had cars in front of us. It was very, very isolated.
The few times we caught up to cars in front of us, they pulled over and let us all go by.
And that was the loop. That was that loop where we went from 11 on to 77, and that is truly an alpine loop for the park. That's the access road for these amazing national forest parks and these little overlooks and awesome things that you should have tourists on. And in other parts of the country, if you're in the Smokies or you're anywhere near Gatlinburg, those roads are going to be chock-a-block with fucking Winnebagos pulling trailers, fucking goldwing trikes with sidecars and trailers, and boats on trailers.
We saw a few of those.
Yeah, we did. And I've never been to an area that was a nature preserve that was as scenic as this place was, and it was. We drove through a fucking mountain.
It was beautiful.
It was gorgeous. We drove literally through a mountain, and you could touch the walls on both sides, I swear.
Where a train used to go.
Right, where a train used to go. And despite all that, we had remarkably little traffic, and we were there through Friday through Saturday, Sunday. You don't go to Highway 129, the Dragon, for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That is traffic. It is. Even when the road was closed and it was a road that went nowhere, it was still traffic.
Because everyone wanted to ride their motorcycles.
Because everybody wants to ride their motorcycles on the Dragon. And there were portions of this run that were Dragon-esque, but not too many of them.
Yeah, there was only a couple.
My average speed on this road was 35 to 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I was able to cruise second gear through the vast majority of it at between 30 and 50. And just honk on that V-twin and just honk it and go, honk it and go, honk it and go.
Yeah, you're lucky I was on the CB1, man.
You were shifting.
I was shifting like mad.
The bike didn't. I will say, though, that CB1, you looked like you were having some serious fucking fun on that bike.
It was made... The CB1, Honda CB... Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Honda CB1 is made for those roads.
It really is.
It is a canyon carver.
Yeah, and it was just doing its job.
It is a bike to just peg it and weet, and just flip it side to side to side to side.
We talk about it before if you listen to the podcast. It's a 400cc. It's a liquid-cooled liquid-cooled 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
That just... makes all kinds of magic happen well above 10,000 RPM.
Oh, yeah. It's got revs to add to revs.
And you just keep it in the butter zone, and you keep that bike in the butter zone. It'll do anything you want it to do. And it's electric. It's acceleration when you're doing that.
It's like turning a potentiometer.
It's fantastic.
On an electric motor, just go, wah,
yeah,
and it just goes away. And I got some excellent satisfaction out of swapping with Justin on our way back from
because he was on
day.
the FZR, correct?
Yeah, he's the FZR 400.
Right, FZR 400.
And we were jokingly sizing each other up the whole time, like, hey, battle of the 400s, let's drag race.
Yeah,
blah.
This is an epic battle, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Yamaha and Honda fought for this shit.
Yeah, and just totally joking about it the whole time. And when we come back from lunch, it's like, let's switch.
Let's trade bikes.
He's like, all right, let's do this. So I got out on it first on his bike, and I hit it like I hit the CB1, and I knew by third gear, I'm like, oh, CB1's way faster.
Way faster, yeah.
I'm like, this is not even a joke. But I was like really enjoying the exhaust he had on his bike.
His exhaust does
His
sound
exhaust
epic.
sounds beautiful.
Right.
So I'm like, well, the exhaust sounds nice.
Right.
And I kind of like this fairing.
It's very rewarding, yeah.
But the suspension also was not as nice.
No, I saw that. That bike was jumping around a lot.
Yeah,
that
it
bike
was really
definitely jumping around a lot. The CB1 was way more settled.
The first hard turn I took, like really laying into it.
I noticed that the bike didn't want to turn.
No, it didn't. I really had to force it to.
I was watching you because I was right behind you when you launched off. I pulled up. I was like, I'm going to chase him and see what this turns into. And I'd been following you through some turns earlier in the day and saw that the CB1 was telepathic. It was going where you pointed it.
Oh, every bit.
And with zero effort. And I watched you lean the bike into the turn. And I watched you dance very close to the double yellow.
Yep.
And then you were like, oh, fuck. You really got to turn this bike. And then I saw you hunker your shoulder into it, and you just sucked it off the double yellow.
Yep.
Just barely.
I can't cross yellow.
It was as close as you could get without getting paint on your tires.
Yeah.
And it was really funny to see you get that and be like, okay, now the bike's turning. Now the bike's turning. Now the bike's turning.
Yeah, well, the fairing kind of plays with your head, too. Mm-hmm. Because the CB1's naked, no fairings, so you see everything. The fairing's just kind of this thing that floats with you.
Right.
And it's like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
But on the funny side of that was I pull in. I wasn't going to say anything to him. I was going to say, wow, thank you. Dude, this bike's awesome. It's cool. It looks beautiful. The exhaust sounds great.
Yeah.
He pulls in the CB1. He shuts it off and he goes, God damn it, it's faster.
So the guy who owns the FCR had to come in and say your bike was faster.
Yeah.
That's painful.
And I'm like,
oh, that sucks when you got to tell somebody else their bike's faster.
I'm like, that's what I was thinking too, but I wasn't going to say anything. He's like, no, damn it, it's faster.
It's faster.
Like noticeably faster. I'm like, that's okay, dude. The FCR is awesome. He's like, no, because now, what sucks is I got to go home now from this event, and I got to figure out how to make my bike faster.
It's going to be a use of force continuum for fucking 400 cc's.
I know. And Justin's a great dude too.
He's a lot of fun.
Oh, he's a lot of fun. So it's no offense, buddy, if you listen to this podcast. Your FCR 400 is absolutely amazing.
It was
and I love
dynamic and spectacular.
It was, and the exhaust note on all the videos I saw, you can hear his bike first.
Oh, I could hear his bike behind me. It sounded fantastic. It was really good.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, great stuff.
So yeah, man. You know what's funny?
Huh.
And we were just talking about this. Of course, nobody's any the wiser that we do take breaks during this podcast.
Right. This is exactly right. We cannot make it through the entire podcast without a cigarette and beer break.
Exactly, because we have to go out to the garage and get another beer.
Another beer, yeah.
And have a smoke and all that.
Well, because you don't want to have a warm beer.
Right. But the funny thing is, we don't stop talking about motorcycles.
Right. We're still out in the garage talking about various other topics that we should have a microphone running for.
Yeah, we were just out in the garage, and that could have been an entire podcast.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. It just keeps going and going and going. And
right.
Now that I've, clued everyone in onto our little trickery
our little brake structure.
Yeah, our brake trickery.
Yep. So what I wanted to talk about next is the Norton motorcycle.
Oh, yes, this is good. Company. This is good.
Everybody... we've been going to the motorcycle show for several years, and for the past several years, Norton has had this, what they call the 961 Commando. And the 961 Commando is a beautiful motorcycle.
I believe Mike Seat test-rided that, didn't he?
There's been stories, and the important thing about the story is that, to just bring up real quickly, you're going to, right now, if you're listening to this, you're probably going to look up Norton 961 on your thumb-powered device. And what happened is in 2006, a group of investors in America created what was called Norton Motorcycles USA. And they basically designed and built in 2006 a 961cc parallel twin pushrod motor that made 80 horsepower, 65 foot-pounds of torque, fairly, decent numbers. And made
they pretty much did for the British motorcycle industry what Harley-Davidson does for the American motorcycle industry.
Well, and the interesting thing was Norton, here's Norton. Norton is a British company, dyed in the wool, and these American guys bring it back. And what had happened is Norton Motorcycles is an Oregon company. That's Oregon in the United States. And they bought the rights to the Norton brand name. A guy named Kenny Dreer. He was a guy that restored and built up Norton Commandos to build whole machines. He modernized machines. He basically made a thing called the VR880, which was an original Commando, and then he just put a bunch of great components on it and modified the motor, and he built 50 of these things, and people could buy them. 50 bikes. I mean, that's pretty solid for a guy building motorcycles.
But Jay Leno owns one.
Yeah, I'm absolutely certain of it. So really neat. Whole operation was great, and it never made actual production. They built, like I said, they built 50 of them, and so they shut down in April 2006, and at that point, somebody jumped into the mix, and the guy that jumped into the mix is a guy named Stuart Garner, and he's a British business guy, and he owns a company called Norton Racing Limited, and he built up what is basically a castle in Donington Park, UK, and it is a castle complete with moat. Okay, it is the whole deal.
Well, why have a castle if you can't have a moat?
If you can't have a moat. So these motorcycles are built in a castle. Once again, part of the romantic notion of having this recreated or rebranded, rebuilt up British motorcycle company.
Right.
Now, what they did is they did get a lot of money, a whole lot of money from the British government, and that means British taxpayers, to bring back a dead British mark, something that's really important to people, and that is, it's good that they should do that and bring that back. The problem is,
our government's done that for Harley Davidson before,
and it's a noble cause to bring this back and build motorcycles that can be sold in the rest of the world. Well, there's a problem though, and the problem is that they were taking deposits for motorcycles. A lot of deposits, because we've seen this motorcycle at various different motorcycle shows, and there's always been somebody there that's willing to take your $20-some thousand and promise you a motorcycle. Well, the real deal is that none of these motorcycles, or not enough of them, have been built. They have run into problems with everything, and including some of the names that they throw around really, really heavily, like the people from Fabri-Weld. Fabri-Weld is a company that builds racing motorcycle frames. And Norton was very proud to say that our frames are these beautiful, amazing, awesome frames that are made by Fabri-Weld. Well, they owed Fabri-Weld so much money, they weren't paying Fabri-Weld, and Fabri-Weld eventually said, nope, we're out of the game. You owe us too much money. You've got enough money to buy a fucking castle, but you're not paying your bills. And that was the problem. A lot of people actually resorted to hiring lawyers to go after Norton to try and get their deposits back. A lot of people put around a $3,000 deposit down to get their motorcycles. Some people actually did pay in full. If you type into Google Norton Gate, which is pretty hilarious, but if you type in Norton Gate, you can get a much more detailed story about all of these people that have had to entertain the services of lawyers or solicitors on their behalf to try and get their fucking money back. Some people have put down $24,000 to buy a bike. Jeez. And they're trying desperately to hunt their money back. The real problem is why the British folks are so upset is because this factory it kind of starts to look like it was a smoke and mirrors campaign. They had great intentions, but the end result is the motorcycles didn't get produced. The government funded this, so taxpayer money went into these guys' pockets to build this project, and now they're not building motorcycles. The other reason that people are so mad is because all of the vendors and all the people whose components were going into these bikes, like Eagly, of the famous Eagly Vincent, or Eagly Vincent, those guys have pulled out, and they've said, we are no longer dealing with Norton because of irreconcilable differences, meaning they didn't pay their bills.
Right.
So all the important names that they'd associated with the product have all backed away from it. There have been massive quality control problems with things like steering head bearings, that the frame is oval and the steering head bearings can't fit into the frame. Where the swing arm can't be mounted correctly because they're just not built to any sort of craftsmanship. This is a big, big problem. And this turns into the vaporware of buying something that's a promise. Buying something that we all want to happen. Buying a Norton Commando is so romantic. I still hear people talking about, that beautiful Norton Commando. I'd love to own one of those one day. I'm not going to buy a Triumph. I'm not going to buy a Moto Guzzi. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm waiting for the Norton Commando 961. Well, you know what? You can quit waiting, okay? Because Norton the Norton Racing Group, what we talked about earlier, the same group of guys, the 961 product has apparently lost all of its luster to these guys, and they built another motorcycle to go TT racing with. And you know what? It's not an 80 horsepower 961 parallel twin with push rods.
What is it?
They basically took an Aprilia. They took an Aprilia sport bike. They changed the frame. They made some slight modifications to it, but basically what they're doing is they're going racing in TT with a nice big Norton flag and a nice big stack of Norton T-shirts. This is a Harley-Davidson thing. They're going to sell way more T-shirts because people love the Norton name. They'll make more money licensing the clothing and patches and hats and jackets than they ever will on the bike, especially when the bike that they're taking out to race has nothing remotely to do with the 961 Commando that people want to buy. The bike that they're racing looks like what it is. It looks like an Aprilia sport bike. The motor is an Aprilia motor. So I don't care who builds your frame. If it has an Aprilia motor in it, you're racing an Aprilia motor.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's not a Norton.
Exactly.
It's not a Norton. It's not a Norton frame. It never was a Norton frame. I don't care who builds it. When I look at it, it doesn't look like a Norton. It doesn't scream sexy, cool British motorcycle. It screams just another sport bike. And it's just another sport bike that happens to have Aprilia's fantastic V4 powerhouse motor in it. And that's what they're going racing with under the Norton banner. The trick is, if I were a British person, I'd be pissed off because basically what these guys are doing is they're having a very expensive racing team doing a lot of research and development on somebody else's dime, mostly the dimes of the people that put down the deposits to buy the bikes, the 961 Commandos.
Now, did those guys in the racing team take the money? Or was it the company that...
Well, the racing team, that Norton Racing, is the company that bought the castle.
Oh,
those are the guys that...
Okay, I thought he was the guy that built them out.
Those are the guys that took over the original designs of the 961 and did it all with government money. Government proposals for money. The way I understand it, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please let the emails fly, because that's the way I read it. The horror stories on the Norton Gate site are insane. They're literally telling people they need to bring their motorcycles in for failures or for recall work or whatever. And when the customer takes one of the very few 961s that was produced, takes it back into the dealership or the shop or whatever for service, they say, I'm sorry, we can't give you the bike back. It's got some pretty serious issues. And they were caught handing the cookie jar, taking the top ends of these motors off and putting used top ends of motors onto motorcycles that are being produced to be sold to other people so they can get people off their ass with lawyers and saying, look, we're giving you your bike. Well, the thing
in
you don't
hopes
know,
that they could get another top end?
Right, at some point.
The one that they just took off?
So they're literally robbing Peter to pay Paul with motorcycle parts, saying, you were dumb enough to give us a deposit. We did eventually give you a motorcycle. We're taking the motorcycle back from you, taking critical components off your motorcycle, putting them on another motorcycle to sell to somebody else.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's one of those ones where Norton, holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Great idea, romantic notion, but Jesus, has this thing been up-ga-fucked, as we used to say.
They just shot that brand in the dick right there.
I really think they did. It's sort of the misadventures of Indian. You know, there have been all these companies that have tried to resurrect Lambretta. These great old...
Indian and Lambretta are two great examples of that.
Right,
they've just been destroyed.
Yeah, those are pretty epic fails in the world of motorcycling. And now with Indian being restructured and brought back out with the backing of their Polaris Bombardier.
Yeah.
So those being brought up by those guys, now there's real skin in the game. There's real money. There's real resources back there that can afford to do that project. Because up until now, everyone has been like, well, which Indian did you get? Did you get the 96 Indian? Did you get the 2002 Indian?
Now you get the Indian that's brought to you by the guys that make the Can-Am.
Right. I mean, that's where and that's where they're coming from. But
it'll be a good Rotax motor, you know.
It was interesting when we were down in Kentucky. I saw a place that sold. It was a dealership, and what they sold was Bombardier snow machines. They sold, that was one of their premier lines. They sold Polaris, the ATVs and stuff like that, and they sold Can-Am, the Spiders. So
because that's Polaris.
It was hilarious because the dealership, a very large dealership, the dealership spanned And I didn't see a Victory motorcycle sign outside or anything else, but it was really...
God, they do Victory, too?
I don't know. I think Victory's somebody else. I think Victory's... Yeah, Polaris is Can-Am Bombardier.
Yeah, they're Canadian, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's those guys. But yeah, it was funny to see that. And I was like, so imagine going, I didn't go into the dealership, and I probably should have just for fun, to go in there and see like, okay, snowmobiles, boom, got snowmobiles, great. Side-by-sides, got side-by-sides, that's great. Got some ATVs. Oh yeah, got those. Those are great. That's awesome. Got some jet skis, great. And we got these Can-Am Spiders over here too. So,
you know, remind me this year at Mid-Ohio,
right,
to go over and get in line to do the Can-Am Spider test drive.
Do the Can-Am Spider?
I have to do it. I just have to do it.
They have had a major bump in their advertising market. They have a television commercial running. And
I saw that. It's terrible.
Oh my God! And it says like, you know, with its new cutting edge modified traction control system, which meant that the one thing that the motorcycle was great at, which was painting big yawing stripe marks on the pavement going around corners, they've completely taken the ability to do that away now. And so now it's very much controlled, so that when you start to lose traction, it starts to take the power away from you, because painting, no burnouts, no painting big yawing stripe marks on the corners anymore. They really have made the thing even more sedate. So what is as wide as a Honda Civic and what is as heavy as anything on Earth is now just a motorcycle by riding position alone. And, and there are so many people and when we see them on the road, and they've gone now with the full touring versions, and so with the full touring versions and all the baggage and shit they've added to it, they really have... Dude, it's a car with one missing wheel. That's all it is. It is a car minus a wheel and a roof that you can only take two people in.
Now, I never looked into the truth of this on those, but is it true that you do not need a motorcycle endorsement?
That is correct. Because the front wheels are greater than 18 inches apart in the state of Ohio, you can take... We have a trike license in Ohio. It's for trikes and sidecars.
Okay.
It is a very greatly modified motorcycle.
So it qualifies under the trike license?
Qualifies under a trike license. I believe, and I'm actually pretty sure that on that particular bike you can probably get away with just your car license. Because
that's what I thought, because the wheels were big enough and the span was wide enough.
Right. I don't think you even need to take the trike test.
No, because the trike's rear.
Correct. Well, there's been several permutations, but based on what I call the Morgan rule, the Morgan rule is a Morgan car, two wheels in the front, one in the back. There were BMW Izettas that were two wheels in the front, one in the back. Messerschmitt Cabinen Roller, two wheels in the front, one in the back. Plenty of cars, and plenty of weird little cars in the 80s that they came out with to try to be more fuel efficient and stuff. Some sporty, some not. Those are all car license only. So I'm fairly certain, without doing any research whatsoever, seat of the pants, I'm fairly certain that a Can-Am can be driven on your car driver's license. I have driven Can-Ams. I've driven the automatic, and I've driven the manual. I want to call it a stick, but it's not. Whatever. It's manual. And it was a horrible riding experience. And what I liken it to is I have not ridden a lot of snowmobiles in my life. I really haven't. But due to the ski thing and the snowmobile and the wide track, you can sort of kind of lean a snowmobile. You can throw your weight around on a snowmobile and make some shit happen.
Well, because you have the snow.
The snow, and it's going to
give.
Right.
You know.
What I've learned was on the Can-Am, on the Spider, I couldn't make anything happen. My body input meant nothing. And the handlebars, there was no counter steering. There was nothing. It was pure mechanical steering. And these things have power assist on the steering now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So
that sounds more dangerous than helpful.
It was the strangest experience. And what I can tell you is I am hugely not a fan. To me, this was like unmotorcycling. And I ride sidecar rigs a lot, more than the average person. And I did not like it at all. It felt extremely wrong. It felt like I was on one of those video games from the 90s where you're supposed to be riding a snowmobile or a jet ski, and it doesn't lean. You just turn the handlebars and the game reacts. That's what this felt like. It felt really piggy, and it felt like it didn't really want to do what I wanted it to do going through corners. I would have to abandon years of motorcycle riding experience to get this thing through a series of corners
See, that's what I couldn't get around, is the fact that I'm on a motorcycle, I'm going to react like I'm on a motorcycle, and I'm going to want to throw my leg into it, and it's not going to go.
It does you no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can lean all you want. You can throw your body around all you want. It changes fuck all. It changes nothing. So the riding experience to me was so foreign, and the funny thing was, after I got off of the bike, I made the mistake of getting back on my bike. And when I got off that bike and got back on my bike, I nearly crashed my bike.
Oh, jeez.
So the Can-Am survived my test ride, but my motorcycle barely did. And I think my motorcycle was literally like, who is this asshole that just climbed on me who doesn't know how to ride? I had been changed into a non-rider.
In one short test ride.
And it was a long test ride. It might have been 12 to 15 miles, but through twisty roads. But the point is, I really, really didn't like the experience. It was not for me. Now, a lot of people have done it and they like it. And maybe if I was impaired in some way, if I had some sort of a physical limitation that caused me to need such a thing. But to me, I just think that is part of the Camaro as fuck wheel fetish of just like, dude, I'm going to put, sidecar on my MP3 leaning three-wheeled motor scooter. I'm going to put a trailer behind my bike. I'm going to, it's this more wheels is better thing.
It's just, I mean, it goes beyond motorcycles and beyond so many other things.
Right.
It's just the dumbing down of everything to make it more easy for the average, I don't feel like investing the time into learning this type of person. And that goes for everything. I mean, that goes for learning how to play guitar.
Right.
That goes for learning how to, do anything. Let's just make it more stupid.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think.
I really do think, though, that they're not targeting active motorcycle riders.
No, they're not at all.
I think they're targeting retired motorcycle riders, saying you can still be cool, even though you. I
think they're targeting people that are kind of afraid to get on a motorcycle, but want the wind in their hair.
Yeah, and I feel the same.
It's like,
way.
I'm sorry, guy. It's still just as dangerous, possibly more.
I've ridden some really expensive trike conversion kits, based on Goldwings, based on Harley Davidsons, where the manufacturer has said, look, you can flat corner this thing. You can flat corner this thing. You can throw it into a corner at 35, 40 miles an hour. We've designed the suspension in the back of that trike to make it through the corner. Firm, solid. It ain't going to toss you. It ain't going to throw you. We have videos on our website of guys going around racetrack corners at 60 miles an hour in a Big Piggy Goldwing trike or a Big Piggy Electroglide trike, an FLH-based trike. And they're hauling ass. They're full-on hauling ass, and they're throwing this thing into corners wearing T-shirts and a shorty helmet. And I've seen the videos.
Nothing but the finest.
I've seen the videos, but when I do it, it feels fucking wrong. I don't have the confidence to do what they're doing and to just trust the width and the wheelbase together, playing with each other. The width of the bike and the wheelbase are so close to each other physically, and I mean on a physics level, it feels fucking dicey. It feels super dicey. It does not give me the confident feeling that I get when I'm cornering a bike through a turn. And it also takes away the visceral part of the riding experience for me, which is leaning. I love leaning. Leaning is great.
Leaning is so the best part.
I love it when I'm leaning a bike over and I feel my shoe.
Yeah, I
kiss the pavement. I love that feeling because
I hate riding in a straight line.
Oh, my feet are my curb feelers when I ride. The way I keep my feet on the bike is there to let me know when it's going to be scratchy time, to let me know when there's going to be metal touching down in a second. And I like that feeling of, trusting a tire in a turn and getting to know a bike well enough to learn its limitations and learn what it can do. Sometimes it's awesome and rewarding, and sometimes I get on that Sportster I was on today and that new freaking Harley Davidson 48. I go to try to turn the thing around into a U-turn. I can't. I run out of I actually ran out of street. I'm embarrassed to say that I got down to the end of the street, went to make a U-turn on the bike to take it back to the shop, leaned the bike over to the left, made my turn, and proceeded to scrape the entire side of the motorcycle.
Oh, geez.
And had to stop. I physically had to stop before I hit the curb and back the bike up. That is so embarrassing that I couldn't make a motorcycle do a U-turn on a standard American street. That was so bad. And I know people love it when bikes look low, and I know the stance of the bike is great. And honestly, looking at the bike, it does look great. It looks fantastic. But I could not do a U-turn. And this isn't an extended swing arm or chopper forks. This is a motorcycle the way it comes from the factory. Engineers were consulted on this project.
Yeah. There were meetings.
Oh, and the suspension moves about 1.25 inches. For the record, it should be a rigid. It's really a dicey bike to ride. If you've never ridden one before, they're really weird. You know, when you get a chance to go to something like an AMA Vintage Days and take a test ride on some motorcycles, you get on that bike and you're like, just try to turn it. Just by God, man, I can turn the Softail 10 times easier than I can turn that Sportster. That Sportster does not want to turn.
To me, hell on a motorcycle is nothing but straight highway ahead of you.
Yeah, and
I cannot fucking stand that. And that's why I don't get some dudes that want to like go to a motorcycle riding event and come from 400 miles away on their motorcycle.
What did we see? We saw Alaska.
Yeah.
We saw guys on Goldwings with monster trailers. Pop-up trailers.
God, huge
pop-up trailers. Camper trailers.
Yeah.
Right, pop-up trailers behind Goldwings, some trikes, some normal motorcycles, that had Alaska license plates, and we were in Kentucky. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They rode from Alaska.
They had a long way to go.
They were mostly 2-up. I think everybody was 2-up.
Yeah.
They had their intercom systems plugged in.
Yeah.
I shudder to think of the amazing amount of boredom. There's not enough entertainment system in the world that can make me think that sitting in that position on that motorcycle for that many hours is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a dick swinging contest.
Well, because when you get to where your destination is, you brought way too much motorcycle for the job.
Exactly.
The camper you're towing, and realistically, that motorcycle towing that camper, if you're getting a hair over 35 miles to the gallon, I'd be impressed. Well, I know I can jump in any reasonable car, and I can get 35 miles to the gallon in a car with 4 doors and 4 seats that I can sleep in very comfortably.
And entertainment, and
give me a hatchback, and I can be super comfortable.
And the Alaska people, I can understand if their adventure was the ride.
But that's a fucking boring adventure.
It's a boring adventure, yeah. But when I'm going to an event that is to ride,
right,
like we did last weekend, fuck if I'm riding my motorcycle there.
No, let's go ahead and do it in God's greatest creation ever, the almighty pickup truck.
Yeah.
Let's do it in the device it was built to do it in.
Bring the boys down. We showed it. We were refreshed. We're like, we just rode 6.5 hours.
We pressed
we're
the
here.
air conditioner button a few times.
Yeah.
We were listening to music. We ate. We drank. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a couple, slugs of whiskey.
I'm going to tell you.
And then we got on our motorcycles and rode 90 miles.
And we rode 90 miles because we got there and had complete. We were ready to ride 90 miles.
Our balls didn't hurt. We weren't like, oh,
fine.
God, give me a beer. I need to, oh, shit. Yeah. Of course, we did have a beer, but.
Well, that enjoyment, what we did Friday night, was brought to you by Econoline. The fact is, we had enough room to have 3 bikes with us and 3 dudes and all of our shit.
And plenty of more space.
Yeah. And we got there refreshed. We got there having a great time. And here's what you do. Let's play the math game. Your motorcycle gets roughly how many miles to the gallon?
Well, I was on the CB1. That does pretty well.
Okay. So what do you think you're getting? 50?
I'm going to say CB1's up around 50. It's all how you ride it, and I ride it like I'm racing every time. So, and it's actually your motorcycle.
Shane's bike would have been getting probably 50 or so at those speeds.
45, 50.
Right?
Yeah.
The bike I'm on, I know is going to be getting around 40, 45. So the bike I'm on, so between the 3 of us.
Okay.
You divide those numbers by 3. Right?
So, yeah. So we'll just say
15 miles to the gallon?
No.
Yeah, because we each buying gas for the same distance travel. So if we were riding those motorcycles down to Kentucky.
Oh, I gotcha.
We'd be getting
right.
15 miles to the gallon.
You're right.
Guess what the Econoline got?
About 15?
15 miles to the gallon.
Yep.
Exactly. Right. And we didn't put a lot of bullshit wear and tear on
So
our bikes.
I was adding all 3 of the numbers together, then trying to divide them. Like, wait,
no. We didn't put a lot of bullshit wear and tear on our bikes. We didn't burn flat spots in our tires. We got there refreshed. We felt great. We unloaded the bikes. We had plenty of room for all the gear we ever needed to bring. The bikes we were on, we couldn't carry shit. because we brought fun bikes.
And we were able to pick up another bike on the way home.
Oh, easily. Yeah, no problem.
Well, we did.
I mean, and that wasn't even a challenge.
Yeah.
Right.
And we threw that dude's 360 right on the trailer.
So
like,
I guess
there
my
you go.
statement is, maybe if you're listening to this podcast, and maybe you can tell me, maybe you can convert me into why riding a motorcycle that's weighs more than a Honda Civic, dragging the world's most uncomfortable pop-up trailer ever.
Probably homemade.
Right. They looked pricey, man. I'm saying all those people spent money. They rode from Alaska to wherever they rode to, and they were riding home through Kentucky. I look at their rig, and I look at the price of the motorcycle. I look at the price of the trailer. I look at all the gear, the intercom systems, everything they have going on so to make that ride more enjoyable. That ride, to me, looks like a giant ball of suck. That looks like the worst.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be the adventure. Oh, we do the adventure.
No
we'll take a motorcycle.
Going straight down the goddamn interstate. That's what vans are for.
If I wanted to take a motorcycle adventure, which I do. I want to take plenty of them.
Sure.
And say I was going to say, I'm going to ride from here to Colorado to go visit my aunt.
Exactly.
Right. I would not be on one interstate.
No, you would not.
I would not spend
west
one
on 70
time.
And just go.
Yeah,
right,
there would not be one iota of time that I would spend on an interstate.
No, you would do your best to take the fun roads.
Yeah, I would take every awful,
you would
weird,
take all the
crazy
roads,
road I could.
Take all the green roads and enjoy that.
Because to me, riding somewhere on a motorcycle is the adventure.
Right.
So make the ride the adventure. Don't say, like, I need to get to Colorado as fast as possible.
And there are so many motorcycle map companies that are out there that sell beautiful maps, and you should buy them because they have roads.
Oh, geez, with the internet.
They have like G1, G2, G3.
Yeah.
You know, these are ratings that they give of roads along the path that you want to go to. And they've already done the hard work. They're telling you, don't go on 40. Don't go on 70. Go on these roads that our riders have already determined are wonderful roads. And for a small pittance of money, you can buy these maps or these programs for your Garmin or what have you, and you can actually ride interesting roads. Now, yes, it will take you an extra day and a half to get to Denver.
Well, that's the purpose.
But it's the best day and a half ever.
Yeah, that's the purpose, is to make the ride the adventure, not the
slabbing it. I cannot imagine for the life of me that there is any portion of this 43-year-old ass that would be greatly enhanced by sitting on any Corbin, Sargent's, whatever fucking saddle for like a 12-hour part of the day. I've ridden around Lake Erie in one shot, 10 hours and 40 minutes. It wasn't awesome. At no point was I like, this is the joy of riding. This is
you were racing, so
it was a race.
It was a race.
It was an event. I have ridden my motorcycle to Alaska and back. I will not do that again. There was no point of that trip where I was like, I'm so glad that I've decided to take the most direct route between Cleveland and Seattle.
Like I said, it's a dick swinging contest.
Right. The part from Seattle to Alaska was kind of adventurous. I mean, it wasn't paved then.
Right.
So it was more exciting. But the idea of super slabbing it's just terrifying to me. It's just, and plus, there's 9,000 things that can go wrong. Mm-hmm. And that was like flying into Dallas, picking up Merritt's motorcycle in Dallas, and riding it home from Dallas on an unknown, untested, untrusted motorcycle I had just bought on eBay. That's an adventure. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of straight, but brother, I was going fast. Once I figured out that the bike was okay to do that too. Once the bike and I had sort of bonded and I knew that I could trust it, and that was through a lot of like very gentle persuading. Mm-hmm. It was like the first time you're in the back seat with a girl. You're just kind of seeing how far you can go.
Yeah.
And then you're backing off a little bit.
Will the panties come off?
Right. And a little bit further. Right. And what I learned is that
she's okay with the button.
What I learned on that Hawk, bringing that Hawk home, is that I could have gone straight to home plate when I was still in Dallas. That bike was so good that it didn't need to be a long...
It's a Hawk GT?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It didn't need to be a long, excruciating, tight pants night. It could have been right to the game because that bike was there for me every step of the way. It never missed a bit. I totally failed the bike. I completely misjudged how deep reserve was going to be. And it's shallow. And that's why I had to push it. And that's why I had to buy gas from a guy's lawnmower on the side of the road that had water in it. I had a misadventure on that just because I did not understand in Texas how far gas stations are away from each other. I'm used to where we live, where they're very close.
Yeah, there's 3 on every corner.
Right, and there where I was driving, there's a lot of nothing. So that was a really tough run to make. But by the end of that trip, I was super slabbing it. But I was super slabbing it at 100 plus.
Nice.
And I was literally putting a tank of gas in the vehicle about every hour. So, you've ridden for an hour, but it's been the most exciting hour you've ever been in your life, where the world is moving at ridiculous speeds for an hour. That's the long ton. That's my personal thing. Is like, I have done the long ton. I've done over 100 miles in 1 hour. And I will tell you that when you've done over 100 miles an hour in 1 hour, when you do pull off the freeway and it's coming to your exit and you're at that exit ramp velocity, which you'd normally do at 35, I was doing that at 75. My whole concept of speed was wrong. And as I'm approaching the stop sign at the end of the ramp, I'm putting my feet down way early because 20 or 30 miles an hour felt like zero to me. My whole speed sensor was fucked up.
Oh, that's funny.
And so I went to put my feet down super early. I threw my feet down, and I was still going like 15, 20 miles an hour. So it does, when you're going 100 plus, and I was kind of averaging between 110 and 115 to get my overall average to be well over 100 for that distance.
Jeez.
And the bike did great. The bike didn't miss a beat. I mean, the bike was there for me the entire time.
Well, I can't wait to see that Hawk then.
It's a different Hawk.
I know.
Yeah, that Hawk's been sold. This has been the
same bike though.
It is the same bike, right? It's the same exact bike. It is, if you're gonna super slab, I guess that doing it that way, where you're building in a competition for yourself, is fine. But boy, just going out there and just slugging it out, man. Fuck. God, that's
boring.
mind-numbing to me. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, give me twisty roads through mountains.
Or give me a lot of stops.
Yeah,
like just give me a bunch of stops. So like, let's go up on the freeway. Let's burn through this 90 miles. Let's get it out of the way. Let's just get this piece of road out of the way, and then we're gonna stop. We're gonna have a great meal. We're gonna stop. We're gonna do something fun, and then we might go out and do it another hour and a half or whatever. Break it up. But these guys that do the long distance iron butt kind of thing, man. I don't know. That's more than I've got in me.
Yeah,
I can't handle it.
To me, that's just not fun motorcycling.
I want to fly to the destination, rent a kick-ass bike, do the destination, and then fly home. Right.
Yeah, it's just not fun motorcycling. It's just something to say you did it.
Yeah, and I think
I did this. It's like, good for you.
Our friend Russ Kelly-Thorne, and I'm going to kind of close the podcast with this.
Yeah, it's closing podcast.
Yeah, our friend Russ Kelly-Thorne decided he was going to go to Hawaii with his wife, and they took off, and they had just an epic adventure. But what he did was, before he went on Craigslist.
And this is brilliant.
He went on Craigslist ahead of time, and he put the feelers out and said, look, I'm going to be here from these dates to this dates. I would like to rent your motorcycle from you. Because, yes, there are 100 different places that will rent you a Harley-Davidson motorcycle in Hawaii. Because that's business. Maybe it's not 100 places, maybe 5 places.
Yeah.
But in any case, that's a business.
Depends which island you're on.
Well, what he did was he went to the people. And by going to the people, he was able to get, I think he was riding a Honda VTX.
Is that what it was?
Cruiser bike. I saw the pictures. It was a swoopy cruiser.
I thought he had a Harley, but...
No, it was a Honda VTX.
Oh,
but the point
even
is,
better.
The guy that loaned it to him, the guy that rented it to him, was super sweet. He was super cool. And I've decided that the next major trip I make, the next time I do something like that, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to get on Craigslist ahead of time. I'm going to put the feelers out and say, look, I'm going to this part of the world. I'm going to put the word out a couple of weeks ahead and see if I can do that. Because that experience to me is so much cooler because you're meeting somebody. You got a built-in tour guide. I mean, he said the guy was great. Told him all the best places to go. I think that is 10 times better than going into Las Vegas Harley-Davidson where they're catering to the tourist a-hole renter and going in and signing your life away in your credit card and taking away a bike that's, not the greatest. Yeah. And I know people who do rentals. I know people who run businesses that rent bikes, and they're great people, and they got a great thing going. I think it's better to meet somebody that's there. Meet somebody who's on the ground and exchange that. Now, maybe they might come to visit your city someday. I have no problem with loaning somebody one of my motorcycles.
Once again, man, it's just part of the adventure.
It really is. And I think that if somebody threw something up on Craigslist that said, Now, nobody ever comes to Cleveland. But if somebody did throw something up on Craigslist that said, I'm coming to Cleveland and I'd like to rent a motorcycle while I'm there, honestly, I think I am the type of person that would say, yeah, man, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on out. Now that you're listening to that, I'm looking for somebody with a boat.
We'll trade motorcycle saddle time.
I will definitely trade motorcycle saddle time for boat saddle time. And I have a truck that can pull it. And I'm not an idiot when it comes to boats.
And you have a truck that can drop the motorcycle off while you go to pick up the boat.
Holy shit, you're right,
dude.
Dustin.
You're in.
Oh my God. I will deliver a motorcycle to your boat location and pick your boat up.
And we'll make sure that your boat gets back to get your motorcycle back. It's a built-in insurance
And you know what?
policy.
I'll fill the tank in the boat. Because that could be fucking expensive.
That could be.
Dustin had to pay for a tank of gas in the Econoline.
Holy shit. Yeah, when I got the text from my wife like, you spent $83 at Pilot?
That
Why?
didn't fill it.
No, that was 3/4.
Yeah, that was about 3/4.
I type back gas van, and she goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that E350 has a very large gas tank. And on that bombshell,
Yep,
we're gonna close it. Everybody, remember: drive fast and take chances.
always.